Welcome to School of Miracles. I'm Heather Scavetta. And today we're going to be talking about the spiritual path and some of the questions that I hear from people often about their journey, discovering who they are, and incorporating spirit with that. So one of the most popular questions is, where am I going? So what's the destination? And when you think about what we've been conditioned to understand about the world, we always need to have an idea of where we're going, what we're working towards, have some goals, this type of thing. But oftentimes you'll find that the spiritual truth can be quite the opposite. And there's that interplay of action on our part, but also recognizing that there is a plan and that we must understand that energy of, is the time right? Are we pushing too much? Are we trying to make things happen? Where's the flow? This type of thing. But when we focus too much on the destination, you may find that you feel more anxiety about it because it is part of the unknown. We think this is where we should be headed, and we wonder when it's going to happen. This big destiny, this final moment where we know we've arrived and we're living our purpose and everything clicks into place. And when we focus on that big destiny, we often don't recognize all the little wins along the way. And Spirit recently reminded me of this because even though I understand my perspective of the spiritual path, I still can fall into those old patterns of what the world has taught me. And so oftentimes I think about that. What's the big destiny? Where am I ultimately going to end up? And am I working towards that time or energy, you may say? And when I think about that, I often feel pressure and anxiety. And this is true when we often think about the future. It does bring anxiety because we don't know what's going to happen. And the unknown can feel a little scary and can make you feel anxious. So, whenever you feel that anxiety, especially around the future, it's a reminder to let go, to trust, to take your focus away from that. And when I do my life readings, a lot of the wisdom that comes through is that the path is one step at a time. And your focus should be on not only the present moment, but your next step. What is the next step that you feel you want to take? And oftentimes people don't look at that next step or don't want to acknowledge it because it may feel difficult to them or something they don't want to do. But the spiritual path is revealed one step at a time. And so something that they showed me was that every time we take a step on the spiritual path, we get a gold star. And every time we do something that is part of our purpose, whether for me it's teaching or it's listening to people with their life issues or bringing through wisdom from the other side. All these things that I do is part of my purpose, but it's not my entire purpose. It's just part of it. And so they were telling me that every time I do my purpose or do the things I do well here, I get a gold star. And so when I do those things along the spiritual path towards some destiny, let's say, the path is littered with these gold stars. And to focus on those gold stars instead of what may be the final destination. When we do that, we bring ourselves into the present moment, we focus on the next step, and we celebrate along the way, and we can be happy about our achievements. Today I was kind to somebody. Today I listened. Today I offered what I have, whether it be wisdom or whatever else, something creative, whatever is of you to another person. That's a win. So can you think less about where you think you're going and let go of that anxiety and instead focus on those little wins along the way? And whenever spirit gives me advice or guidance, it always alleviates my anxiety. It always makes me feel better. It makes me feel safe. And I know it's coming from them. So if you're somebody who is overly focused on your destination, can you instead acknowledge the little wins along the way? Because for some of us, that is the destination. It's all the little wins. They all add up. And even if you can't remember your previous wins, heaven knows. They are recorded in your book of life. You will be able to see them when you eventually transition to the other side. They're being held for you. They're being saved for you. So don't worry that you can't remember all your little wins. Instead, let's move forward. And let's acknowledge when those wins happen. Some of the little wins, we can take action in our life and say, when I do this, when I offer this, it feels good. It's acknowledging some of the things I do well and what I can offer others. And so we can orchestrate more of those in our lives, provide those opportunities. But a lot of them happen spontaneously. I don't believe in coincidences anymore. Let's call them synchronicities, where things just kind of click into place and you may comment like, well, that's a weird thing that I met this person and we have so much in common. And look how perhaps I could be an ear for her or him and offer my experience and maybe just let them know that they're not alone in their struggles or whatever is happening. So today, can you just trust that there will be these wins? And when they happen, whether they're partly orchestrated from you taking action in some way, or just allowing the synchronicities to fall into place and to recognize, hey, that was a win. Let's do more of that. Because when we share our true self, which is our soul, that brings us a lot of joy. And when we feel joyful, we can spread that to others. So I hope my message today has helped you in some way. Maybe you'd like to pass on this episode podcast to a friend who may need to hear this. Whatever helps. So thank you again for listening, and I look forward to our time together next time.